Starting this month, workers with disabilities can no longer be paid less than minimum wage. A bill passed 2 years ago has now gone into effect, phasing out jobs that paid sub-minimum wages. News 19's Rachel Ripp explains.
After a decade of advocating, Able SC, a disability-led nonprofit organization, is celebrating. South Carolina employers can no longer pay individuals with disabilities less than minimum wage. Able SC leaders say back in the early 20th century, when the Fair Labor Standards Act was put in place, the original thought behind the act was to provide a training ground for folks with disabilities to gain skills and support before moving on to higher paying jobs. But they say that didn't happen often.
What we know from the data and from speaking with folks, that doesn't happen. Less than 5% of individuals in sheltered workshops transition into community employment.
Able SC leaders say it was a model without success. So they went to SC lawmakers like Senator Tom Davis.
Individuals with disabilities are being trapped in these sub-minimum wage jobs. They weren't graduating to higher paid jobs. They're often being stigmatized. They were being segregated and placed into very rote assembly line, types of jobs. And it was really degrading.
Davis, along with several other lawmakers, pushed legislation that would no longer allow sub-minimum wages.
We did see how some other states did it, and we got to learn from their mistakes. And one thing that was learned is you can't just suddenly end a program and not follow up to ensure that people who are involved in that program have, their next step.
And now all 2,500 individuals with disabilities have transitioned to new higher paying jobs and out of so-called sheltered workshops. Supporters of the bill, like Micah Caskey, say in part, "This is not just a matter of economic policy, but a reflection of our values as a society that believes in the potential and worth of every individual." And sponsor of the bill, Katrina Sheely, says in part, "It is a victory for all our citizens living with disabilities." Rachel Ripp, News 19 WLTX.
And according to Able SC tonight, the next steps include a report from the task force that oversaw the 2-year transition period out of sub-minimum wage, going to the state's Employment First Oversight Commission to continue the progress.